Hey Rockers, we're here at Rock Hard in Greece, and I'm here with Pepper from the Crypt.
Hi guys.
So you just came off stage.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh, thank you so much. A little bit warm, but it was super fun. Great audience.
A great voice. I especially loved it in the Rock Kommander theme.
Yeah, I love to sing that. Even, not to use that word, but since it's a Dee Snider song, but of course we're doing the duet, but it's nice to have the lead to be like mini Dee Snider, but in a Pepper sense of style. A little bit, theatrical. And I love to do that. And also because of the game, because it's like the metal community uniting in that song. And it looked really like the audience have been listening to the song. So they were on fire on that one.
How was the cooperation with Dee Snider?
If it had been many moons ago, then it would have been maybe me going to New York, recording that song and actually meet Dee Snider. But now we send this digital files. But of course, an honor to be able to work with him. Since I was when I was a child, I listened to Twisted Sister and I sang. I think it was to "We're Not Gonna Take It," but I was young. You don't really know English. So I was probably like, like cowboy English, we call it in Swedish. For me, it felt like the whole circle kind of like got completed. But like me being like, I don't know, 6, 7 years old, singing that song and like out in the universe. And now it came back to me like, guess what? You're going to sing with Dee Snider. Oh my God. So yeah, it's cool. And the people I talk to, and of course very humble. Yeah, I've been singing, a song, Rock Kommander for a game, with Dee Snider. What? Yeah,
That's great to hear.
It's a fond memory. Yeah.
I also love this style you bring into it, along with your outfit.
Yeah.
What inspired this outfit?
Well, since I'm into burlesque as well, I kind of like a costume hoarder and find designs. So, my husband is not very happy with that. But then again, he's a drum hoarder, so I think we're like 50-50. I think it's fun to sit and find costumes on the internet or like designers, small shops. You find things and and I just kind of like added up the pieces and like, oh yeah, but that could match and okay, and like okay, and all of a sudden the fans started to call me Metal Priestess. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can live with that perfectly.
Yeah, you really brought into the Rock Kommander.
Yeah, but I think also since I'm short, the horns make me taller, but they're quite dangerous. Also, because they're like pointy, and the fellows in the band are quite tall. So if I'm like bending, trying my shoes or something, they're like, "Whoa, you almost poked my eye." I'm like, "Sorry." So I have to like have like tennis balls or something before show, but I'm afraid to have that because then I will go out on stage and like and they're like, oh, what the hell? So no, I can't. So I really have to. When I have this on, when I put it on, it's like, okay, I'm gonna be very gentle. No bending, just straight. So they're dangerous, but they're cool, right?
They look up.
Yeah. Have you noticed I added some bling to them as well?
I did.
Yeah. But I'm like, okay, I started, but it's too little.
I know this is an extra little touch.
Yeah. But everyone loves when it sparks.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So, how do you think your fans reacted when they saw you being in the game?
I think since a lot of our fans are in the older spectra, so to say, I'm not sure that they are that used to play the mobile games. But then again, I've talked to many of them and like encouraged them to like, you give it a try and see. And I met one and talked to him and like, okay, have you tried? Yeah, I tried and I'm hooked. Thanks to you. I was like, yeah, I know. So and I think it's a great game that you can manage the bands and you add more of these characters from other bands and also the community-wise. I think it's a good thing to be. A lot of people go to festivals maybe by themselves and they meet and then they can like communicate through the game and and like, oh yeah, I played that too. So then you get a connection that way too. So I think it's
something.
Yeah, but I really like that it seems to work. That's what I've heard so far. So yeah, I have played it too. But I have to be careful, because you have to, play the music as well.
Yeah. Otherwise you get too.
Exactly. Yeah.
So is it okay if I ask a few fun questions?
Yeah, sure.
So we were
Wasn't
recently.
this fun?
Yeah. What was your first tattoo?
A dragon
A dragon. Where?
on my arm.
I always wanted to get a dragon tattoo.
Because they exist, right?
Yeah.
They do. Yeah.
They really do.
And that's why I did it as soon as I turned 18. And my sister, I have 2 older sisters, and one of them got a tattoo, and I was like, fuck, that's awesome. And she did a snake, like on a tribal, and I was like, I'm gonna get one too.
Yeah, you upgraded from a snake.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm gonna fly, girl. Yeah, so it was a dragon, yeah.
What's the weirdest place you've ever played a gig?
Oh, weirdest place. Oh, wow. I think, I don't know what it's called in English, but in a garage. But when you drive in the car and you have this, like, the pit, oil pit, kind of like, I have to change in that oil. I mean, where you drive and you can stand under and, you know, like work on the car.
Mechanic.
Yeah, the mechanic thingy, but the mechanic hole, I don't know. That was weird. So that was actually, I had to like walk up there. From there up to the stage, there was like the garage floor. So that was kind of like the backstage. So they kind of like, I had a cloak on and I had to go down. I'm like, okay, now's your cue. Whoa, then I come up and like, ta-da! That was weird.
How many people were there?
70 maybe. So it was like a private party, but still very, very weird. But I mean, yeah, been to weird places. But I think that's one of them, like, weird, really.
Plugged or unplugged?
Well, that was actually a burlesque show, so that was just me dancing. So
Really? Oh yeah, you've had a really colorful.
how do you say it? Like a cookie jar, so like everything, like music, burlesque, what blah 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 blah. So you know, I have my fingers and hands in, you know, all these different kinds. As long as it's creative and it's fun, then I'm there.
What made
You find me there.
What made you fall for metal, like specifically?
I mean, ever since I've been little, I have been listening to rock music, or like, because when I grew up, of course, the classic like war with like synth and heavy metal rock genres. I was like one leg in both, like one on the synth side and like in heavy metal. So I have always been listening and always dreamt about being on a stage, preferably a rock singer someday, somewhere. So yeah, it started there, and I started to listen to like Beatles, Mom and Dad's Doors, and Beatles records. And you know, and you start that, and you get like some other records from relatives and friends, and you know, and in that time we had this, you know, the tapes, the cassettes, you know, you recorded them from your friends, like, oh, I got this tape, and you started to like get this different kind of music that you couldn't really find. So yeah.
Do you have any new album on the way?
Writing songs, absolutely. So, but I mean, there's no stress really, because we want to enjoy the ride, of course, and add more shows. But we're writing, so hopefully soon. I don't know, maybe next year, something like that.
Do you have any teasers about what you plan ahead?
Nah, I mean, some singles gonna come, of course, and some nice collaborations, perhaps. We'll see.
What's your most embarrassing moment, like on stage?
Oh, on stage, embarrassing. I think also that is more something that no one really noticed, but I felt it. I was young, but it's not a musical, it's a burlesque thing again. That we had a troupe number, and I was one of the ladies that got a little bit too tipsy on that one. And you know, when you're like in a group, of course it's the same when you're in a band, of course. If someone is a little bit too drunk, the whole like the situation is affected above, you know, of your like, oops, what happened? So that would be like, for me, even if, I mean, nothing happened, I kind of like stumbled and felt like, oh fuck, no. Ooh, and no, you know, never do that again. So not really like embarrassment, but still like something out of respect for my colleagues, but definitely for the ones paying money to come to the show. So I would say it's important to keep character and remember that they're the fans, no matter what you do, if you're, as long as, I mean, it's showbiz, whatever, entertainment in some way. you have to remember to, respect them and they respect you, of course. I mean, it will be like if you go to a concert yourself and you notice that, I don't know, the drummer or whatever is super drunk or, high on drugs. It's like, okay, I paid money for this and I'm a big fan, blah, 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 blah. It's, it's not okay. So that's a lesson we need to learn, to be careful and respectful with alcohol and drugs.
That's very wise.
Yeah, I'm so smart.
Thank you so much for yours. Make sure to add Pepper from your picks to your bands. And let's rock.
Let's rock, yeah.
Rock Kommander!